Good evening and welcome to our November 18th, 2024 meeting of the City of Tuscaloosa Planning and Zoning Commission. This meeting allows for alternative participation in order to accommodate all citizens. Any written comments sent to staff are forwarded to the commission directly. At this time, I'd like to introduce our staff. Jimbo Woodson, Deputy City Attorney. Michael Garner, City Engineer. Zach Pons, Director of Planning. Haley Webb, Development Review Coordinator. Emily Hayes, Associate Director of Planning. Leota Coyne, Planner. Lily McIntyre, Special Projects Coordinator. There are 9 members of the Planning Commission who all were appointed by the Mayor for staggered terms with the exception of City Council representatives appointed by City Council. I ask that the commission members introduce themselves and state their occupation, beginning with Mr. Rumsey.
Stephen Rumsey, business owner.
Dina Prince, attorney.
Tim Harrison, general contractor.
Councilwoman Raven Howard, District 2.
John Smith, Deputy Director, Environmental Services.
Eddie Pugh, retired Tuscaloosa Fire Rescue.
I'm Bill Wright, business owner. There are sign-up sheets outside for public comment. 4 speakers are allowed to speak in favor of a petition, and 4 speakers are allowed to speak in opposition of a petition. All speakers will have a maximum of 5 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. The commission will take up items in the order of our final agenda. The commission will initially receive a presentation from the staff as to the details of the agenda item. Additionally, we may hear certain matters involving the same property, such as an annexation and a zoning matter concurrently, although we will take separate votes on each matter involving the same property. After the staff presentation, I will then call upon the petitioner to present their case. The petitioner will have a maximum of 10 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. At the conclusion of the petitioner's remarks, we'll then call on any other party in order of sign up or otherwise who desires to support the petition, and thereafter we'll call in order of sign up those who oppose the petition. When it's your time for comment, please introduce yourself, stating your name and address to the commission to provide your remarks. Any written comments have been included into the record. After receiving the remarks of those who oppose the petition, the petitioner will have the opportunity to respond to the objections. Any rebuttal will be limited to 2 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. If the petitioner presents any new information in response to the objections, we will allow those who oppose the opportunity to respond to the new information only. Any response will be limited to 2 minutes unless the commission votes to allow a longer time. During the course of this presentation, you may be interrupted by any member of the commission for clarification or additional information. Such interruptions will not reduce your time. Once the commission members are satisfied they've received all relevant information, I will then close further discussion by the public, at which time the commission members will discuss the matter and then vote. After the vote, you are free to leave. These proceedings are video recorded and broadcast live. All in-person public comments should be made at the podium into the microphone. Comments made by phone or virtually are video recorded through the conferencing application. Again, please first state your name and address for the record. Jurisdiction: in all matters pertaining to subdivision regulations, approval of subdivisions within the city and its planning jurisdiction, and as to amendments, planned unit developments, and located outside the city limits, this commission serves as the final authority. As to matters pertaining to historic buffer zone construction, our decision is subject to appeal to the City Council. As to all remaining agenda matters, including original zonings, rezonings, planned unit developments within the city, and street vacation, this commission serves as a recommending body to the City Council. In that regard, our decisions are in the form of a recommendation to be presented to the City Council, and the City Council will make the final decision on those matters. Subdivision approvals require the affirmative vote of 6 members of the Planning Commission. All matters which are recommendations to the City Council require a majority vote for an affirmative recommendation. At this time, I'd ask, do any members of the commission have any conflicts of interest as to any agenda matters before us tonight? If so, please state for the record.
Mr. Chairman, I will be abstaining from DROD-5-24.
Anyone else? Thank you. I would ask the staff to confirm on the record that proper notice has been given to all parties in interest as required by law as to all matters before the commission tonight.
It has.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion? Let's see. The following agenda has been modified. I don't have anything there. So with that, we will begin with the approval of the minutes. As to the Planning and Zoning Commission has received the synopsis of the October 2024 meeting, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the same unless there are any deletions, additions, or corrections. All those in favor of approving the minutes for October 2024, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. With that, staff?
Good evening, Commission. We do have one case that was withdrawn, that was carried over from last month. That was Z1324. The petitioner has withdrawn this case, and it was advertised as such, so they will not need to request that from you. So jumping into our cases to be heard, we do have one downtown Riverfront Overlay District case. That is DROD 524. Baywood Hotels Incorporated petitions to construct a 5-story hotel on the property south of 2117 Jack Warner Parkway, which is north of 2104 and 2200 4th Street and west of 305 Almond Avenue. This is zoned BC DROD within Council District 1. Here is where we are. This is just behind Taco Mama. Zooming in a little closer, and also behind the newly proposed alum development. Here is that property today. You've all seen this before, but just to go over what that narrative states, this is a new 5-story hotel, 6 stories if you include the basement, that will contain 101 rooms. This is 7 additional rooms as seen last time, featuring a fitness center, EV charging station, bike borrowing program, also containing 92 parking spaces. For the building itself, it will be all brick and fiber cement panel veneer with metal railings and metal frame windows. Here is that site plan of what that could and would look like. And the elevations showing the primary facade. Going into the floor plan, here is that basement level. You have a mix of rooms as well as in-house keeping, whether that be laundry, meeting rooms, storage, etc. Looking at level 1, on the right-hand side, you see the lounge and dining area with additional rooms on the left, also including a fitness studio. Then level 2 through 5 will be where primarily most of the hotel rooms are. So there's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the upper right-hand corner is the program legend. We'll zoom into that a little bit, and it gives you a breakdown of the guest room count, how many beds there will be. Meeting with the Architectural Review Committee, they found that overall this development does meet the intent of the DROD standards and guidelines that are outlined in section 24230. Do you have any questions for staff?
So to hear you correctly, it's 7 additional rooms?
That's
Other than
right.
that, the project hasn't changed?
Correct.
Okay.
What did you ask, Bill?
There's only changes, they're adding 7, they had 7 rooms. Nothing,
That's right. 7
Proper.
additional beds from their previous approval.
right, okay. Any other questions for staff? Petitioner?
Good evening, Paul Williams with Baywood Hotels, and I'm here to answer questions or anything you may have.
Well, I've obviously approved before, but you added 7 rooms, so that's the only thing that I guess kind of changes things. But other than that, the project is the same, isn't it?
It's the same project.
You're just now ready to get going.
We're
Have we
ready.
done this before?
We're pushing more. I mean, the reality is construction costs have been crazy high, and interest rates now seem to be starting to go in the right direction. So
That's
that's the goal, is that things begin to come together and make the numbers work.
Staff, when did we approve this originally? And I guess, how far are we out of the
what I
1 year?
2022.
So it's
It's a
pretty
horrible
well
site.
beyond the original.
Yeah, and then we had I extended it previously. I'm not sure exactly how long, but now I guess about a year, and so now we're on
Okay.
that extension has expired.
That's what kind of threw me off a little. Usually it's a 1 year period, here we are 2 years post-approval.
That's right.
But you granted them an additional year, staff level, okay. I don't really have any other questions for petitioner.
Can you go back to the site map? Just show where it's, okay. So, I'm like Dina,
I don't remember approving it as a hotel. I remember the other things that we approved when Ford Waters, did it.
Now, that's behind Ford Waters project.
What, sweetie?
That's behind Ford Waters project. That's on, off of, there's 4th Street through there.
Oh,
The
okay.
railroad tracks.
Okay. And they're going to get to it by 21st Avenue, so I guess it's, the grade is, it's not that big hill down there anymore.
is that where you're getting, I don't see the ingress egress on this map.
On the other one, I think it's from
Not
21st.
on that one.
It's to 21st.
See, that's the old J.O. Flowers right there.
That's the insurance center there on the
Yeah.
corner. Right across from barbecue.
Okay.
Yeah, that roundabout area, they're gonna access off of that, or that entrance area.
So we've already approved this. This is just an approval with 7 more rooms and
Yes,
is
sir.
it same number of parking spaces or same?
Same number as previous, so not counting for the 7 additional rooms.
So, will he?
But there is no parking requirement in the BC zoning district.
So, say again, Zach?
They don't have a parking requirement that they have to meet. However, they're not expanding their parking with the 7 additional rooms that they're asking for.
So do they have to go to the Board of Adjustment?
No, because there's no parking standard in downtown
All righty.
requirement.
Can you show what the hotel looked like again? It looked the same all the way around. I couldn't tell the front from the back. Is the back the top picture, or is that the front?
So the top picture is, I would say.
That face the
that
parking
front-
lot?
that- Like, as you drive up. you're
Okay,
gonna
that's
see
facing the parking lot.
That is, the top picture is kind of, let me try to decide what the best way to describe
It's going to
it.
be,
Yeah, the one she's pointing to is what you're gonna see when you drive up.
that's the front street, that's a street view
Yeah.
right there. But your top view would be your
It's kind of.
parking lot view.
Or that's more
correct?
down the hill, I guess you would say.
That's your entrance on the top left, that kind of
Yeah.
Only
sliding
reason-
door.
The only reason I ask is it said it had a basement, so is the top picture the back, and
So the
looks
lower
like under that
level,
little gray square, that the basement?
if you
Is
look at the
land,
land is like this.
okay, I knew it was coming off that hill, but once you got to the bottom,
Yeah, so if you look at the top, number 1, you'll see.
that's
kind
what
of
you
got
see
like-
from, Oscar River Road. It's Jack Warner Parkway now, but
Now, that's going to be the parking lot.
No, that's the downhill
Right.
side. So in other words, you'll see the lower level, if you look at the number 1, you'll see how it's kind of got an elevated wall, and you look back into the picture, you'll see.
So number 4 is going to be facing Almond.
So you turn in, and see the-
Number
You'll see
1, number 2 is going to be facing like Alum, so that vacant piece of property. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that. And then number 1 is going to be facing the river. Is that right?
That's what you're going to see this.
Yeah.
No, that's going to be
Yes.
facing directly south. One would be facing directly south. That'd be facing towards University Boulevard.
it just looks like
Sorry, north. Number 1 is facing north, number 2
One's
is facing
north, two's
south.
facing.
that would be the basement part.
You sure about that? One would be facing south, right?
He said north.
Number 1 is? Facing, that's facing north. Okay,
Yeah.
So
Facing
that's
River
facing
Road,
the
Jack
river.
Warner Parkway.
okay,
I'm driving towards University, I see number 1.
okay. From River Road.
Yep, on my right-hand side. as I'm
Gotcha,
passing
okay.
it.
I was just trying to figure out the basement part. I thought once you got down there, it would be level. And I don't have any problems with this information.
So we enter the hotel on the number 4 on the end.
Yeah, you enter on the end.
Okay, that's interesting. Now you're going right here. See this little door right here? That's what you'll go in, hotel on. Well, you're the hotelier. I'm not going to tell you how to operate your business, but I'm just
Show the
curious.
first floor.
One more up,
Yeah, you gotta go down or something.
that one.
That's the basement level, right?
No, this is the main level as you come in. So
This
you'll
is your
come
main
in
level.
Off
Yeah.
the street.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Have the laundry in it. Okay, so yeah, you enter, yeah, you enter right there.
So this side over here is facing Alman, correct?
No.
No.
This side's facing Alman.
Yeah.
Sorry, this
One
is
that's got the
confusing.
vestibule there, that's going to be the end of the building where you enter.
And you're driving up right.
Yeah, that's closest to us.
So the drive is right here.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so you're driving right here.
There you go. Okay.
And this is the parking area?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting, you go around the end of the building and almost have to take enter from almost the back of the building to come in.
Well, when you come up, there is parking
Is there parking on the right-hand side?
right in front of the entrance, there's parking, and then it wraps around the building. So if you
Okay,
look
yeah.
at, on the right-hand side, you see the little dog leg in the building, that's where your door is.
Yep.
And so you have the drop-off and everything in that loop at the front door, and then the other parking wraps around the back.
Sorry.
Just out of curiosity, what are the little red dots over there? What are the red dots? What are these?
I believe those are overhead poles from up the hill.
Previous, already there poles?
Hmm?
You see those, staff? There's some on the property and some outside the property.
Yeah, there's that overhead power lines that run through there.
Kind of weird looking.
Just
What
try
are these,
to,
power lines?
That is what it looks like.
So Alabama Power has a transmission line that runs along the south of this property. You could see it, I think, in one of the images. I think that's what those depict.
Okay,
is those
there you go.
poles right there.
Got it.
go back to the last picture, please. Just out of curiosity, it says 92 parking spaces, 101 rooms. There's no parking requirements. Is there not some way to add a few more parking spaces, or is there our greenery and all that kind of stuff?
That's part of the discussion tonight that y'all can have.
Only reason I ask is where the employees gonna park, and be my luck if I stayed there, I'd be all the way down on the end with dead ends.
Well,
What's the deal on not adding?
What you're looking at is, you're looking at this in 2D. This site actually sits, it's literally like this. So we're parking in here as much as we can. We have guy wires to deal with. We have the overhead pole lines coming through. They won't let us move them. I mean, we've squeezed as many parking spaces into this thing that we can find. I mean, we've tried to add more, but then we have had green space requirements. We've had a number of things. We went back and forth with planning several times on parking.
What about, I've got a general question on that. Whenever at full capacity in the hotel industry, what percentage of the occupants of those rooms have cars? Meaning, you know what I'm saying, like you had 100 rooms, are there 100 cars, or they're usually historically 75% parking?
Depends on the market, something like this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, something like this, 75% is usually reasonable. And even if we do have more, we'll valet them and do what we have to do. So,
I like the idea, I just question the parking, because if I go down there to see Bill, and he's staying at the hotel, in 101 rooms and 92 parking spaces, I mean, I just wish there's some way we could get some more parking in there. I don't have a problem with the hotel, just.
What about, and maybe this is one of your green space requirements, But down at the bottom, you know, there are two trees drawn in, and then over on the left, there are like another two trees drawn in the little semicircle thing. Is that required as part of the green space, or could you take those out? I mean, you may even be able to get 3 spaces in each of those little alcoves for a total of 6.
We do have requirements for every 12 spaces, there has to be a landscape island,
Okay.
but I think there might be some wiggle room that, I don't know.
It's, again.
How do
have to relate-
you get around that requirement? Or can you? I mean, I'm sitting here going, and I love shrubs and trees more than anybody else probably, but, you know, in this instance, I think parking may be more important than 4 trees, or whatever those are, green space, but,
But
I mean, that's
I
just.
guess we all need to recognize that this isn't we aren't looking at a piece of land that's flat. So between 21st Avenue and where that front door is, you're driving up a hill. I mean, you're talking 20, 25 feet to get to the front door. So in order to make the grade and everything work, it's like you need space to go around corners and around things, just to even make everything. For instance, the first driveway is here as you come off the main drive, and the next one's up here. It's like if you take the whole island away, it doesn't physically work. You can't make the grading work.
Okay.
I would love to find more parking spaces if I could, but we haven't been very successful.
What do you do when you're full? I mean, obviously got to go somewhere, so you go make a deal with somebody else or park them, or?
We'll valet, I mean, we'll make an arrangement with somebody and valet the spaces.
Back in 2022, when this was approved, and they had 96 rooms or whatever it
In
was.
20.
Did they
well,
still just have 92 parking spaces then?
I believe so.
Well, it was the same number of parking spaces then, and back then it was the same number of rooms. It was originally approved with less prior to that. So this is no change from what was approved in 2022.
Yeah, that area's had
Kind of
some.
like when an airline sells 200 seats and they've only got 150 seats on the airplane or something. I know I like it, don't get me wrong, I just, parking just,
Is
we
it,
added rooms, but we didn't add parking.
Well, I didn't add rooms from the previous approval.
you didn't?
Did not.
What are we here for?
The previous narrative did have 7 less rooms.
I don't believe that's correct. There was 2 previous narratives. There was the first one, and then there was
Okay, I just.
the last time through.
Could they go to the ZBA and ask to do away with some of this? Ms. Prince
So-
was talking about do away with some of this greenery between the parking places, or?
They could, but here's the thing is, the landscaping is not making them have to add more rooms in order to make it, like, they could do underground parking, they could reduce the rooms in order to meet the parking count. It's not the landscaping that's making them have to do this. I think we need to keep that in mind, that landscaping here is not the issue.
And with the grade over there, I know that you always worry about water runoff, and that area's had some water runoff issues, hasn't it? I mean, I know that part of that Almond Avenue was closed because of half of that mud bank went into the,
So it's been several months since we reviewed the land development plans, but all the stormwater, if I remember right, is collected and connects to the big culvert that's in 21st Avenue that discharges directly to the Black Warrior River. So I think that's taken care of. I don't think we have a drainage issue.
I don't want to see a whole flat parking lot. I think the carve-outs for the vegetation is helpful from we always talk about stormwater runoff and everybody controlling their water that hits their property, and as little as that is, it's something, and I think aesthetically it would look better than having just a asphalt parking. That's,
I guess my thoughts are this, that you obviously can add rooms, whether y'all came to that agreement or not. I don't know whether you did, but even if you did, if your clients come and you don't figure out a way to park their cars, and you'll get a reputation for that, and it'll hurt your business. Parking spaces are a little tight, particularly for these big F-150 trucks and stuff anyway, so. But most hotels sit materially empty except for 10 weekends out of the year, right? So, it's only gonna be a problem when it's a problem, and then if he doesn't figure out a solution, then he'll get a reputation for it's chaos on game day weekends, and so that's kind of his problem unless they start driving across the street and parking on city's property, then it becomes our problem. But really, I would say, 325 days out of the year, it's probably a non-issue. So, legally, the 8.5 are fine, but they're a little tight too, so he's got to go find, on the days, how many employees do you have?
I'm sorry,
How many employees?
how many employees? At the most, 12 to 13 at one time.
So, it's really not gonna be short. You're not gonna be short 9, you're gonna be short 20. So, now the employees could Uber to work or something.
Well, we can encourage our employees to Uber, we can find alternate solutions.
parking day.
We can, there's even abilities to valet in the lot that you have here.
I
once
guess
you
if I'm
control
him
it.
and he can build the more rooms, it doesn't hurt him to have them, but he'll have to figure out a way to use them if he doesn't have parking, so it's really more his
So,
problem.
yeah, and we did confirm, there was some mix-up on the narratives. So when we posted the packets in 2022, we got a revised narrative the previous day, or the next day. So that revised narrative was 101 rooms. So all that to say, they are not asking for an increase in rooms based off of the previous
We
approval.
approved the 101.
Yeah.
Okay.
The staff report was created prior to the final narrative being submitted.
Well, then what are we talking about? Unless somebody's changed their mind on the parking, but we all voted and passed it then. Any other questions for petitioner? Thank you, sir. Anyone in the audience care to speak for or against this petition request? Having heard none. I guess we'll close real quick. I agree with Mr. Rums's last comments. This hotel's kind of on its own out there, and if there's a parking problem, that's going to be on them, and that's going to be, they'll manage it. But there's no parking on 21st Avenue for their employees or for their guests, so. Again, we approved it as is before. Any other comments? Okay, having heard none. Commission, for us, we have a DRO DO 524 Baywood Hotels petition to construct a 5-story hotel on 2117 Jack Warner Parkway.
Motion to approve.
Have a second? Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
Yes,
Abstain.
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
I kind of wish.
Moving into our preliminary plats, we have S 7624 Culver Commons. This is consisting of 2 lots on approximately 3.07 acres located at 4005 Stillman Boulevard. This is in Council District 1. Here's a vicinity map of where we are right at the intersection of Stillman, Culver, and Clinton. You all saw this property just last year to rezone it from residential to commercial for the creation of a dollar store, of Dollar Tree. Here's that aerial overview. It's 1 lot today, and they are requesting to go from 1 lot to 2. Here's the plat with contours and without. This is to parcel off that newly created Dollar Tree onto its own parcel. They're requesting a variance from sidewalks as the development has been constructed. Do you have any questions for staff?
Engineering on the sidewalk request?
We're okay.
Thank you. Petitioner?
Jason Allen, 4005 Stillman Boulevard.
And we're requesting a variance for sidewalks on this property.
But your main request is to subdivide the lot into 2 lots.
Say again, I'm
Your
sorry.
your main goal is to subdivide the lot into 2 lots.
That's correct. So we are in the process of selling the dollar store at this time. And so we're wanting it split to sell the 1.61 acres with the store. And then we'll keep the remainder for future use. We're not sure what we're going to do at this time.
Any questions for petitioner?
I do. Explain how the maintenance, or who's going to keep ownership of the detention pond? I mean, obviously, you're going to have a user that uses it, and you're selling that to a different landowner. So this common detention is going to serve 2 separate owners. Are y'all putting some kind of document together for the long-term maintenance of this detention facility?
Yes, there'll be a maintenance agreement with Dollar Tree, and we'll split the maintenance with them.
I want a note of that effect on the final plat, please.
Okay.
What's going on with the gray area? I can see where the turn-in is. Is it just the right side of the gray area? Is the drive cutting over from one road to the other? So what does the gray area denote?
That is, I'm not really sure what exactly he grade that for. I believe that is for the shared access easement, because we were only allowed one entrance for that property. There's no other entrances allowed. There's going to have to be a shared access there at some point with the future development.
So if there's another store over here on the left side, they'll enter the same road and one will turn right, one will turn left. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
But you've got an access off the rear too, off Clinton.
Yes.
Does that need to go on the plat?
What was that, Dana?
I said, does that need to go on the plat?
That is going to apply too, right?
That it's a, shared
Well,
access?
yeah, they'll have to denote that on the plat as well, yeah.
So in our notes, we want to make sure they're recording that we're going to vote on, we're going to require on the plat to have a shared detention agreement and the shared cross-access on this grade area. Right? Jimbo? Yep.
I have a question. I am familiar with the new development. I've been to the Family Dollar once. So are there any sidewalks included in this project?
No. Ask for a variance.
Okay. There are no sidewalks with the Family Dollar that's there now?
No, not at this time. It was not required on the LDP.
There's no sidewalks in front of the Dollar Tree?
No, sir.
Okay.
I think-
It's not my district, but I do like the idea of having sidewalks in this area because the connectivity is needed, and it's a lot of pedestrian traffic from Piggly Wiggly to Stillman College, just all the way down Clover Road. So I know we've started that project. I'll save you tonight because it's not my district, but I do think the idea of sidewalks is very needed in this area.
Well, you know I like sidewalks.
Here's the
I
thing, I
love
guess,
sidewalks.
I agree with it in that area. That's an odd parcel.
It is.
Where it is, and there's not any good crosswalks in that area, are there, staff? I mean, how would you, if, say you were on Stillman campus, you could cross over to the, I guess, Piggly Wiggly there, maybe? But then how do you get over to that parcel? That's where I see that, I don't know if sidewalks benefit anybody. Then again, if you have sidewalks, you need to have crosswalks.
Yeah.
But you've got sidewalks on Stillman, don't you?
On Stillman side,
I think, don't you?
In front of, down there where the police department and everything
I'm not sure the sidewalks extend that far north up Culver. I know there are sidewalks further south. This is a state route, so any sidewalk would have to be approved by ALDOT. Yeah, now you could do some sidewalk connectivity on Clinton Drive.
Very dangerous.
You know, that's a city street, but approval would be required by ALDOT for any crosswalks, sidewalks, whatever on Culver.
But are there any other
down there by
sidewalks
Robert
on
and Jimmy's
Clinton
office.
Drive? Or there's no sidewalks that connect any of this property, are there?
Not on the north side of Culver Road, no, sir.
There's really nowhere. I mean,
None
it'd be,
in Clinton Drive.
exactly, there's no sidewalk, or anywhere on Stillman Boulevard or Clinton Drive on that north side.
I would like to think that would have been brought up when we first developed the Dollar Tree, and it never was originally. At that time, we could have put it in the budget of that building, but it never was brought up. And we went through a pretty intense LDP, so.
I think we like sidewalks, but sidewalks to nowhere, I'm kind of like, that's just a burden on any developer to have to do that. It's like, where's it going to go? If you were telling me there was a long-term plan to put new traffic lights and new road work and then do crosswalks and doing it in other parts of town, I'd say, yeah. But
Raven, is this your district?
It's not, that's why I won't press the issue. It's not my district. I know that there is some long-term plans for connectivity in this area, but like I said, it's not my district, so, and the council person is not here. So
Just to be
I'll
frank,
spare
that would
us.
be very, very costly in order to get sidewalks put in on, because of, you know, the slope of the embankment and the access and everything.
Well, we have a policy that
noted.
you have to put in sidewalks within a half mile of a school or a park. And I know Stillman is probably a quarter of a mile from there, so therein lies the issue. But is he saying that we approved the dollar store without sidewalks? And now he's just trying to turn it into two lots?
if we'd said no, he could force him to build a sidewalk, just one portion of it. We couldn't require it the whole way.
Yeah, I mean, I
Then
would.
back to the sidewalk to nowhere.
Yeah, but in our future code, we will be requiring sidewalks at this location on the second lot. Because obviously the first one was built under the,
Within a certain
Current
time period,
code.
or is it like, is that gonna be?
at the time of LDP.
Okay.
So the request for sidewalks, they don't have to develop them now in order to subdivide.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but the first lot, you are correct, they asked for sidewalk variance, and we didn't have to require them to build sidewalks. For the future, we will be able to do that.
Okay, I mean, and just to note that this location is across from a housing development. I mean, it's just a lot of pedestrian traffic, and that's a good thing to see so many residents accessing that. And then it's not far from a neighborhood, as you can see from the area views. So the sidewalks are needed, and I believe, I don't know, it's not my district, but connectivity in this area is definitely discussed heavily, so
Well,
I'm just.
when you're
doing my
driving,
hand.
down Stillman Boulevard, tractor trailers exit to the right down Stillman to go to GAF Roofing and Hunt Oil and Mid-States Asphalt, Kent Strip, and ABH. So this is a very dangerous area down through here. As she said, there's a lot of homeowners that they're walking across here to retail shopping. I wish we had tackled it. But even if we had, I mean, it would have made it better, but it wouldn't have made it good. It's a problem area. I mean,
Zach, did you say they're not required now, but they will be if he comes back and we split this property into two pieces, and he gets ready, or somebody gets ready to build on the second parcel, they would have to put sidewalks in?
I believe so, yeah, for the lot 2,
Okay.
for future development under the future code. But obviously not in this phase where they're just subdividing.
Be a
What
rude
what
awakening.
we get into we're gonna require them to put sidewalks in the future, and then, once we require them to put sidewalks in, the city have to come in and put the sidewalks in behind the Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
We'll just get Aldot to do it.
If we didn't require them to have sidewalks on the Dollar Tree to start with, then I don't see how we can come back and say you gotta do it now.
Yeah.
So, let's split it and go.
Any other questions or comments?
I think it's a good lesson learned for us in the future.
Yeah. Future's
Yeah,
right.
With that much property left, knowing it might be subdivided, so, yeah.
I mean, trucks really, at that light, they come barreling down that hill. In fact, there's little kids at bus stops all down Stillman Boulevard at these houses. And tractor trailers coming really fast down through there. It's been a problem. They've tried to work on it. To Tim's point, we probably should have been on our game.
Yeah.
Thank you, petitioner. Anyone care to speak for or against this petition request? Okay, having heard none, I think we've beat this one up pretty good. Commissioner Forrest, we have S 7624 Culver Commons with one variance request of sidewalks. Engineering today has no issues with. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Let's see, where'd I go this time? Mr. Rumsey?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion approved.
All right, Commission, next we have S 7724. This is Elmore Division, plat number 1. This is consisting of 2 lots on approximately 3.27 acres located at 1402 Martin Road East. This is not in city limits. Here's the vicinity map. We are just west of the venue. Zooming in a little bit, we're also near the intersection of Martin Road and Watermelon Road. Today it is 1 lot. They're requesting to go from 1 to 2. Here's that plat with contours. And without, they are showing a 30-foot dedicated access easement that takes you back to lot 2. Parceling out 0.81 acres at the front along Martin Road. With this plat, they are requesting variances from lot configuration as well as capped sewer. They are creating a flag lot there with that gravel drive.
Engineering,
We have no issues.
thank you. Petitioner,
Good evening. Jamie Autry, 3531 18th Avenue Northeast. I'm here for Mr. Larry Elmore, who, as you see, his primary residence is here in the back, and he's got a small car dealership in the front there that he's had for many years. And what Mr. Elmore is trying to do is just make some long-term plans in case he were to retire or something like that, so the legal structure would be in place to sell the car dealership and maintain his residence. The residence has a 30-foot access easement that's already deeded for the properties to the south. There's 2 properties that use that easement. So it just makes sense to use that, the existing driveway, as a flag lot. And so that's the reason for the variance request there. And then the cap sewers, there's not a sewer close to this, and the cost would be astronomical to run a sewer line. But that's what the purpose of the division is for Mr. Elmore.
any questions for our petitioner? Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone care to speak for or against this petition request? Having heard none, Commissioner Forrest, we have S 7724 Elmore Division, plat number 1, 2, variance request, block configuration, cap sewer. Do I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Howard?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes.
Yes, motion approved.
All right, last 2 things in front of you is the 2025 meeting dates and deadlines calendar. I didn't get any feedback saying yes or no, so I think if you guys don't have any changes, I think you guys are welcome to go ahead and take that vote.
All right, Commissioner Forrest, we have the 2025 meeting dates and deadlines for the Tuscaloosa Planning and Zoning Commission. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it.
Great, and now while we are talking about 2025, it's also time to elect our chair and vice chair for the 2025 year. We can begin with the chair, and that will just work by someone nominating, and if they choose to accept, then we'll go ahead and do the vote.
I nominate Mr. Wright.
Second.
And that's because nobody wants the damn thing.
Motion to adjourn.
And I believe this can be a voice vote, correct? Okay, voice
So-
vote for Mr. Wright.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Nay, what'd I say?
All right, and then also for the vice chair, we'll do a nomination and similar what we just did.
Anybody want it?
Kim Harrison.
Yeah.
Good job.
All right, heard Mr. Harrison, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of Mr. Harrison's vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
All right.
Congratulations.
So we've got Mr. Wright and Mr. Harrison going into 2025. And with that, that's all we have for November.
All